Hey guys, Preston Schmidt here with Movement Mortgage, and oh man, am I excited! I got Nick Pierce joining me today. Nick, one of my good friends, longtime realtor partners, done quite a few deals together. But I just really am excited that you took the time today to join me on this realtor spotlight. So Nick, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I just want to jump right into it again. I just am really curious, what got you into real estate? Because you could be doing anything right now.
Yeah. So as you know, we both went to school at UW Eau Claire, and my background's accounting and finance. And I got out of school and had a couple internships during school and a job out of college. And in the accounting field, I just determined I couldn't be behind a desk all day. I really thrive on that human interaction, and sitting behind a desk wasn't something I could handle. So I sought out jobs where I was going to be interacting with people. A sales role is kind of a natural fit. And then from there, housing is something that people are excited about. People get excited about looking at houses. Buying houses. It's a big life event.
Yep.
So people are happy when they come to me. They're excited. They're said, "Hey, we're going to be looking for a house, and this is a big life event for us." So it's a fun transaction to work with them on. So that's what I love the most about real estate.
Yeah, and I know you're at Rize Realty Group. So tell me more about that. And is that kind of a team structure, or are you kind of solo?
Yeah, so at Rise, it's my business partner and I. We have about 10 agents in total, and him and I kind of lead the team. We've been in the industry for quite a while, and it's a really, a good format. We really enjoy working with the agents, and we feed off each other and bounce ideas off each other. So we all have our own skill sets and are able to help each other out. Some of the agents use Canva, a marketing tool, and kind of creating posts and all that, and they're better at that than me. So we all have our own skill sets, and it really works out well.
You can bounce ideas off each other. That's awesome. Now, are you
Exactly.
licensed in Minnesota and Wisconsin? If I'm
I
not
am. I'm a Minnesota agent, and I'm also a Wisconsin broker. So
Wisconsin broker. Nice.
I got licensed in both states right away. Grew up in Hudson, Wisconsin, so it's a natural fit. I live in Minnesota now, but to have both states makes a lot of sense.
Perfect. Okay, so you got the whole brokerage license. That's awesome. So tell me
Yes.
more about yourself, Nick. I know that you're married, but tell me your kids and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So my wife and I, Rachel and I, were married, and we have one daughter, Olivia. She's just turned a year. We live in Bloomington, Minnesota. We bought a house about a year ago and have done quite a bit of work to update it. And then we also have two dogs. So the dogs are starting to figure out life as not being the most important babies anymore. They,
Hmm.
are taking second fiddle to Olivia, but they're doing well, and it's fun to kind of see them interact. And Olivia loves the dogs, and they tolerate her, so it's all good.
And I know we've golfed quite a few times together. And but what other hobbies do you like doing?
Yeah, I'm big into sports, so I like to golf. I like to play, get together and play pickup games of basketball, throw the football around. So watching and playing sports, you and I have played quite a few rounds together, and that's
Yeah.
something I enjoy doing. And then, the sports, as far as the watching side, it's kind of a fun rivalry between you and I. You got the Packers, and I'm the Viking fan. So I'm getting the best of you this year. It's a little more
Can't
fun, the
really talk
rivalry.
this year. Yeah, myself.
But no, it's all fun. It's big time sports fan, and then just kind of getting outside and doing things
Okay,
outside.
perfect. Well, this is my favorite question. I just really want to know. Tell me a challenging deal that you've had that was just unbearable, but you were actually able to get it closed, and how did it work out?
Yeah, I mean, I think all deals, there's kind of ways to work with your client and kind of decide some deals just can't happen. And there's a reason why, it's not the right deal and people have to walk away. But in general, some of the harder deals over the last couple of years have been deals where I've had clients needing to sell a property and then also buy a property, and just trying to time that out right now in a market where, they could sell the house really fast, but then trying to buy the house it was that competitive buyer's market. And it was kind of hard to make those two things fall in line. So I really strived to just educate the seller up front and really make sure they knew their different options, whether that's asking for a longer closing date or asking for a seller rent back, whatever the case may be. I think all of the challenging transactions that I have, the key is really good communication and good education. You as the lender, me as the realtor, that's our job. We've been through it before. We know how it works. And it can be very stressful for a client when they don't do this every day. But for you and I, it's kind of our job to really keep it calm and educate and inform so that they can make the best decision that works for them.
Yeah, that makes sense completely.
So I went a little different direction, not a specific transaction, but just kind of a more
No, that's well said.
transactions happen
Very well
over and
said.
over.
Now, are you focused more on listings or do you focus more on purchases?
Yeah, I like to do both. I would say it's a pretty even mix, probably a little more buy side. Kind of my goal is if I work with you as a buyer, first time home buyer, like I said, I love to educate, love to kind of help people through that process. But I want to provide a service where they're so happy with the result and they know that I truly care. Where when they go to list that house, I'm the guy. Like that repeat business for me is super important. It shows me that I did a good job. So
Hmm.
as I've been in the industry longer, it's kind of picked up where early on it was a lot of buyers and now it's kind of leveling out. And a lot of that has to do with that repeat clients
Sure.
where I'm listing their house and then kind of helping them find that next home. So
Yeah, that helps.
it's
That helps
just,
immensely.
but I like, some agents really focus on buyers or sellers. I kind of like having that mix.
No, great. Yeah, and this is my kind of my open forum portion of it. Just you just kind of talk about whatever you'd like. Let's talk up your brokerage that you have and any other topics you like to talk about.
Yeah, so I think kind of one thing I'll highlight that we do at Rize, it's called the Rize listing refresh. But what that really is getting ready to sell a home can be a challenging thing. And you have to get it cleaned and you have some updates you have to make. And there's things, even in my own home, when I sold my last home, there were projects that I had on my list that I knew I needed to do and I wanted to do for myself, but they kind of got pushed back and pushed back. And then when you get ready to sell, it's like, okay, we have to do all of this right away,
Hmm.
and that can be stressful for sellers. So with a listing refresh, we actually have our stager who can come through and make some recommendations where maybe they need to repaint or maybe tile a backsplash. And we have actually contractors who we work with who can come in and do these projects as part. It's suggested by the stager, and then our seller can decide I want to do X, Y, and Z because I think this will make me the most money. Um, but then the nice thing is to pay for that up front, sometimes a lot of sellers have their money, it's the equity in their home. So they don't have to
Hmm.
pay for these repairs or these fixes up front. They can pay for those at closing, have it come out of their net proceeds. So it's a nice way to really make sure they make the decision that they do the updates and the choices that the stager makes and what we think will make them the most money. They can do all of that without worrying about trying to handle it themselves. We handle all the work with the contractors. And like I said, you can pay on the back end, which makes it really easy to use for any client.
Gotcha. We have a program that's very similar to that too. That kind of helps on the lending side. But yeah, no, that's a great product to have for your listing clients. Well, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate that. If you have any other things you'd like to mention, otherwise we'll kind of call it a wrap and I'll let you go on with your day.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for having me on. And, it's real estate is a job I love. And if there's anyone out there listening who's looking to buy or sell, I'd love to be a resource.
Perfect. I can't stress that enough. Thanks again, Nick. Appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot, Preston. Have a good day.